So today we are going to talk about mute myself meta ads and how to write ads for Meta specifically. Now, if you are writing ads for Meta right now and you're wondering why you're not converting more, why ads are bombing after converting so well, why the creative fatigue hits so hard, it's really important to think about everything I'm going to talk about here in terms of organization and deployment. So, number one, we're going to use Claude. And the reason I've got it trained, it's still producing, it's been a little funky lately, but still producing the best overall copy from the different AI bots. So, I just had it look up the product. We're going to use this. This is the Lark PureViz 2, and we're going to develop positioning points. Now, the reason why we're going to do that, now, first of all, we'll get into the mechanism so that you understand how I get to the positioning points. That's critical. They say that the money's made in the research. Now the money's made in context. So the more that you context train, which is what copy prompting is, it's what I created, copy prompting. The more that you context train your AI, the better the results are going to be. But it's also helping AI understand what you truly need from it and why, which is why master prompts matter so much. I'll leave a link below so that you can get my master prompt in my advertorial ebook and just copy and paste it on into your Claude. It has all of my heuristic trainings that will help you get what I get. Now, let's get into the mechanism first. So every bottle is full of bacteria. The idea, this is invented or this was a Shark Tank product. Kevin O'Leary, I believe, was the one. I think he spent like $1 million to get in on Lark. And this thing is genuinely cool. We'll get into the nano filter as well. It does come with an app, which is also very cool. You can track how much water you drank. You just have to have the app open in the background. It'll even show you how much money you've saved from not having to buy bottled water. So it's a very cool product. I'm using it every day right now. And there's a lot of hooks that are very natural for this, above and beyond positioning points, but positioning is the hook. So let's start with, okay, let's go over to here. So would it be fair to say that the Lark does more to filter tap water than most of the filters on the market, with the nano filter and the UVC light? Filters on the market with the nano filter and the UVC light. Oopsies. Okay. So would it be fair to say that the Lark PureViz 2 is more effective than other filters? Apparently I'm having audio issues, so we're just going to do it like this. So I try not to push AI into any direction. I want both sides. I want it to play devil's advocate no matter what, so that we avoid hallucinations. That keeps it honest, or at least one of the ways to help keep it honest. Because it sure does like to hallucinate when it doesn't when it's not being prompted properly, because it really does come down to the prompter, the amount of hallucinations that occur. Okay, reverse osmosis. Okay, yeah, that's true. That is good to get. It's also expensive. This is convenient. Hmm. And the contamination in the bottle itself. One of the hooks could be taking toilet water and showing people how you're going to drink the toilet water out of your lark, because it helps clear out all of the bacteria that would be dangerous. In fact, it is, and we'll get into it, akin to boiling water for 20 minutes. It's the only product that does UV purification and carbon filtration, plus the portability and the smart tracking with the app. Makes it a solid product. Okay. So, so again, if you already know, or you're mostly know, regardless, you need to collaborate with Claude. You need to collaborate with AI, because that is the context training. Without the context training, you don't got nothing. Hmm. Where UVC wins, about 1,500 times more energy efficient than boiling. Doesn't change smell, taste, on demand. So what are we thinking when people are out camping? Obviously, out hiking. This is ideal, because if you run out of water, or there's going to be streams. Now, you don't want to drink out of streams that are so polluted and full of sediment, because it's going to have a hard time filtering some of that. In fact, it does say so right here, that all that sediment is that's often what gets you. If you drink the water, in terms of the E. coli or any other bacterias that take you out. So there are limitations, but it is very effective. Yep. The same UVC technology hospitals use to sterilize surgical equipment. NASA uses UVC to treat water in the International Space Station. So those are different ways of credibility, also borrowed authority. So, did you know that you can use the same technology? Did you know you could use the same technology NASA uses to get all the bad bacteria, all the bad stuff out of their water with this bottle? So it has borrowed authority potential. If you were the owner, or you're the copywriter writing for this company, and let's say they have a doctor, then coming from that this is what the same technology hospitals use. You can even show them, in the device itself. This is the same technology as doctors use to sterilize surgical equipment, and that will have a lot of impact. So every time that you're doing your research, you're always trying to unpack what this looks like in copy. Who's saying it? Why is that person saying it? What would the difference be with somebody if you are doing, let's say, an owner or a copywriter doing a UGC brief, content creator brief, affiliate brief? So you have to go through this process in order to give them that, although they will often do that on their own or even do it better than you, because that's where they put all their energy. And so people can be like, I love being able to bring this on my hikes because it uses the same sterilization for surgical equipment, and I get to use that in my water. So it's just like, let's see, what would be another way? This UVC technology is so powerful in eradicating bad bacteria out of water, like E. coli, the stuff that really takes us out, that it's the same technology hospitals use to sterilize their surgical equipment. Or you can use the NASA. City water plant, I find that to be less because city water generally has a pretty bad reputation. So there's a lot of possibility though right there in terms of what we're thinking about. So we could ask, you could also do research in terms of like top athletes who have talked about it, celebrities. If you're selling something like NMN, you could point, and this is what a lot of people are doing on TikTok and Meta. Kim Kardashian talked about how NAD is what's keeping her feeling and looking young. You could show the Tony Robbins clip talking about how American soldiers have been given NAD and what the results are, because the results are pretty amazing. So in terms of like, if you're getting down to the mechanism level, in terms of what the mechanism does, like NMN is proven in clinical trials at 1,000 milligrams taken every day to double NAD levels in blood panels, real world blood panels. So the fact that aging comes down to NAD so much, of course, we want to be dosing up. Of course, we want to use borrowed authority where we can, how we can, legally, compliantly, which that whole conversation is different now. That whole conversation's changed. What you can do in terms of using without paying for celebrity endorsements is insane. So lots of different possibilities. Is there food and beverage industry? Okay. Coca-Cola. So Coke drinkers, there's a symbol, right? So I see if a person trucks Coke, so then we can do this. And think about the amount of Coke drinkers. I don't drink Coke. I don't even know what this is, and it's certainly not going to tell you on this bottle or anywhere online what's actually in this. But Coke drinkers swear by their Coke, don't they? So the same technology that eradicates all the bad stuff out of your Coca-Cola is the same technology used in this. And it's the same technology that is like boiling water for 20 minutes so that it's safe to drink, but you do it with the press of a button. So you're able to start getting into the positioning point, start imagining when you're doing your context training, your copy prompting. function. And by the way, like you can show all the stuff that goes into creating a cola. Not necessarily Coke, but it's dirty. So showing them in a video overlay or a picture overlay what that looks like so that it means more brings the symbol of Coke to life. Now you can't necessarily show the label, but you can hold the bottle, right? This is iconic. So it's a very doable proposition. And if it's a person doing UGC, there's a lot that you can get away with because they're like, I really trust what they do to this. So I know that the water I'm drinking in this is clean too. And for me, that would have no impact. That would be like, the F you talking about? But for people who drink Coca-Cola, there's authority. FDA approval since the year 2000. Okay. Same idea. That right there, your water bottle likely has more bad bacterial growth, or you could just say bacterial growth, than your own toilet seat. Is got a lot of impact as well. Um, So going after tap water just makes sense, right? Because everybody can drink their tap water much more safely if they drink it with this and save a bunch of money and not drink out of the plastic water bottles, which just gives you microplastics. So right? So positioning point number 3. People camping and hiking. So if we were to feed these 3 positioning points and then start building ads out of different archetypes and storylines, we could give Andromeda a lot to work with. But don't worry about my spelling. Now, preventing creative fatigue is not just about positioning points and having lots of cross triangulation with those positioning points in your ads, but also advertorials, assessments, quizzes. Those things are extremely important, y'all, to uh, giving Andromeda Meta's algorithm what it really needs to expand your TAM, define TAM, expand your TAM, define TAM, expand your TAM again and again and again, right? Okay. So we got some good positioning points. Yeah, we already knew this. Travel, and travel's good. I mean, just like airports and all the places where you're paying insane money for water, just use their water fountains and drink even better water than you would be paying for. So that positioning point definitely has a lot of scalability potential, and it's evergreen, right? It's not gonna it'll never stop being relevant 365 days a year. Whereas some products are, seasonal. Some products are only hot during the holiday season, and that's where they make the majority of their sales. No, when you add positioning points that make your product sellable year round and highly relevant year round, you are increasing not only sales, but market share viability and then exitability. Just your basic health, yeah. Okay. You are 75% water. Yeah, that's very top of funnel, but it could convert with using that top of funnel positioning in the right way. The healthy person uh, likely doesn't know everything that's in their tap water that this can help. Like the pharmaceuticals. A lot of people don't know there are straight up pharmaceuticals in your water, and the nano filter will help filter lots of those. Can only make so many claims in terms of which one specifically, but there's a lot of wiggle room there. Van life is another possibility. Road tripping, that's another possibility. Places where people are going to be buying a lot of water, and then you can show them the app and show like, oh, this is how much money I saved with this bottle, because I didn't have to buy all that bottled water on this trip. Because you have to drink a lot of water while you're road tripping, while you're traveling. Content creators need to be reminded when to drink water. The app will help with that so that they're drinking more water, because as a content creator, as a copywriter, as a business owner, it's great to have this around and be able to just go and fill it right back up. Just take a minute or 3 minutes, depending which mode you use, to get the antibacterial in full place so that there's not all the junk, and then be able to drink it through the nano filter, which gets rid of so many heavy metals, pharmaceuticals, just a ton of the junk in the water, right? And by the way, I would actually take this entire transcript from the live video I'm doing right now and feed it in the Claude, and it will give it even more context. Now, there's other places that I want to go, like, okay. Right? Because we want to have this over here, positioning point number 1. So let's say travel. Positioning point number 2, let's say camping, hiking. Positioning point number 3, let's just say tap water. Right? And positioning point, hold on, let me gather all this. Positioning point number 4, save money on plastic water bottles. Now adding the microplastics into the symbol of the plastic water bottle. So using the plastic water, take the label off, creators, doctors, whoever's doing the VSL, the front end video, whoever, the water bottle becomes a symbol of what's building up in the brain, of Alzheimer's, of Parkinson's, all these ridiculously on the rise diseases that are absolutely being exacerbated by the amount of microplastics we consume. And there's science, there's studies to back that up. Let's go back over here. The 3 gram crashes in coffee, it's dehydration. That is so true, right? So we have dehydration. And this is like supplements, right? It's not this, it's really this. That's why you take this. So it's the reassociation of, oh, you're not dehydrated, you're deficient in this. That's what sells supplements. And so we're able to do that with the water, with dehydration. Okay. So now we have 5 positioning points. Okay, let's keep going. We got all the same. The apps. Another thing would be aging, potentially. I haven't thought about this. And that's just again, a shot in the dark. I mean, we're made of water. If we don't drink water for 72 hours, we die. There's a lot about water that has to do with life, mortality, and aging. Literally the fountain of youth, right? Okay, so you see what I'm doing on the level of context training. I would need to context train it more. I've been doing that a lot with you, the people watching this, the viewer, you watching this. But I would be doing more directly, which is why I said I could just use this video to help give it more context. But now we have all these positioning points, right? So I can start with what she said. Oops. Yes. Okay. So just like start getting an idea. It's finally safe to drink stream water. Never get dehydrated camping again. Drink out of almost any stream or river, right? So now we have specificity when we're filling our copy in. We know what the pain points are. Like, do you want to spend $15 for a small bottle of water at the airport? Because that's what it costs. And so the positioning determines the copy, determines the hook. That's why positioning is the hook. And then there's lots of different ways to hook people with this positioning. That's why we make sure our headline copy, our primary copy is clearly hitting the value proposition hard. That's how we get the test faster and convert more. More scalability, exponential profitability. Now, let's say with this positioning point tap water, I'm sending people to an advertorial in this ad or this ad set. And so I want to make sure and start generating the consequences. So this could be positioned to parents if I'm going after the parent archetype, right? Because now we have a positioning point, but there's different archetypes within that positioning point that makes us be able to get a lot more out of that positioning point. The generic conversation is, here's what's in your tap water. Don't drink that. Or if you're going to, drink it through this and save a bunch of money while you're at it. Right? That's the general way of talking about tap water. But then we have what happens to parents giving their kids tap water. What about instead of parents, what about gut? Because all that bad bacteria is damaging the gut more. All health starts in the gut. So for people who are gut aware, middle of funnel, this is actually a path of least resistance to get them to buy. That this is the one gut product they never knew they even needed, but matters so much more than a lot of what they're actually doing, right? So that's by understanding circumstance and archetype, condition, archetype, to be able to take a positioning point and then add more layers to it. Again, just tap water. Parents protecting their kids from tap water. People who have autoimmune problems and tap water. People with kids who are camping. There's all these different archetypes that we get to include in the positioning points so that we get way more testability and scalability out of every positioning point and giving Andromeda, the algorithm, more to choose from to blast us. And this is how you do it. This is how you create that. And I'm not going to go further. I've already gone too long, and I will do more of this in copy prompting. But it would also be great to get some of y'all in a hot seat. And if you do want to get in the hot seat, you just go to hotseatsessions.com, and you can sign up for copy prompting. And I'll be able to do a lot of hot seats over the next handful of months. I cannot guarantee one-on-ones, but as more people sign up, I will do more groups. And then do shorter hot seats but get more people. And either way, watching people get into the hot seat and applying everything that we're talking about on different products for different reasons, right? Then you can see more ways of doing this for anything that comes your way, whether you're an owner, a copywriter, seller on TikTok, whatever. Doesn't matter. You're going to be able to have so much more awareness about what you're doing and why. And that's how we get to this point, right? So we have the positioning points. Then we can add the other symbols, archetypes, conditions, circumstances, right? To get more out of every positioning point so that we have lots of ad scaling, increasing spend. Owners want to increase spend, of course, because once you're converting, you're making more money. More money in, more money out, more money in, more money out, more money in, more money out, right? That's what we're all here to do. All right? Questions, please do